Okay, welcome to video number 2. In this video, we are going to be working on the ribbing, and we're going to be working on how to make the sleeves for this project. If you haven't already, if I could please get you to hit that subscribe button, thumbs up if you're enjoying this project, and notification bell if you're looking forward to get more notifications from my channel. I've got a lot of great stuff coming this year, so you're not going to want to miss. Okay, well, let's get on to video number 2.
Now what I'm about to show you on this sleeve, make sure that you do it on the other armhole as well. Okay, so we're going to start by working a slip knot, just like that. And we're going to do, okay, just go ahead and join it, and then do a chain 2, 1, 2. Skip the next stitch here, and then the next opening, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Skip this next section or the next row ending, and then in the next space, which is also going to be a chain 2 space, single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. We're going to do that all the way around the arm opening. Skip this next section. In the next opening, again, work another wattle stitch, skip the next row ending, and in the next space, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. You need to work this all the way around this armhole opening, and I will show you what to do when you get back to the seam. And if you're working the size that I'm working on, which is for the medium large, you should have 25 of these wattle stitches. After working those 25 wattle stitches, and this brings you back to the seam, then we're just going to join with a slip stitch to that first chain 2 where we began. Okay, after turning my work, I have chained 2. This is following that slip stitch join at the end of the last round. Now I'm going to work 40 more rounds by working a wattle stitch, which is the single crochet, chain 1, double crochet in each chain 1 space. And just like I did at the end of the first round of the sleeve, we're going to join with a slip stitch to the chain 2 space, and then we're going to turn at the end of each round. Now I have done this for a total of 41 rounds, with the first round being the round we just completed. This would be round 2. For the length that I desired for my sleeve, just shy of the ribbing cuff. Now I have completed another sleeve, and let me show you what I have put at the end. So at the end of this, it's approximately 1.5 inches. So whatever length you prefer your sleeve, minus this amount that you desire for the cuff, that's what you're going to be working with these rounds. And like I said, if your gauge is the same as mine, and if you're making the same size as me, go ahead and do that for 40 more rounds until you have a total of 41 rounds to make the length of the sleeve. Okay, I've completed the sleeve and I'm ready to work the cuff. I have worked 41 rounds, and that's including the round where we joined, and I've gone ahead and marked it here with this needle because quite frankly it's really hard to see the seam, which is a good thing. This is what I think I like about this design, is it's pretty much seamless except for those 2 places where the sweater is sewn together down the side. Okay, so if you would like to make your sleeve longer, this is the time to do it. Just keep in mind that we are going to be adding the cuff at the end. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to work those cuff rows. After joining with a slip stitch, we've chained 2, and we're going to work a double crochet in that single crochet, and then we're going to work a double crochet in the chain 1 space. We're going to skip the double crochet entirely on this round. So we're just going to work a double crochet in that single crochet and a double crochet in the chain 1 space. And we're going to do that all the way around. And if you're working the size that I'm working, and you had 25 wattle stitches all the way around, at the end of this round you should have 50 double crochets. So go ahead and work these all the way around this cuff. Now we're ready to begin the second round. We're going to go ahead and start that with a chain 2. And what I'm going to show you here, we were going to do for the next 7 rounds. We begin with a front post double crochet, and then follow that with a back post double crochet. Front post double crochet, and then back post double crochet. We're just going to work this ribbing all the way around. At the end of the row, we join with a slip stitch to the first double crochet of the round, just like that. Chain 2. We're not going to turn at the end of any of these rounds. Okay, so that was round number 2. We're going to work 6 more rounds just the same way. We work front post over the front post stitches, and then back post over the back post stitches. And we're just going to work those all the way around and joining to the first stitch of the round as I showed you, and I will show you how to fasten off after we complete round number 8. Okay, after completing round number 8, which again is the 7th round, working the front post and back post double crochets, we join with a slip stitch to that first double crochet of the round. Give it a chain, give it a tug, and get your scissors and cut a very generous, at least 4 to 6 inch strand, so that we can hide the loose thread once we're all finished. Okay, so I have completed my sleeve. Now all you need to do is duplicate this on the other arm. Now we're ready to work the ribbing along the bottom of the sweater, and I'm showing you the seam here because how we do this is going to be a little bit different depending on the front side or the back side, and quite frankly these are reversible, so it really doesn't matter. But this would be the foundation chain, and this would be the last stitch worked for the top part with the wattle stitches. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to join with a slip stitch, and let's go and get that, throw that out of the way. We're going to go ahead and chain 2, 1, 2, and again this does not count as a double crochet. And starting in the next stitch, we're going to work a double crochet in each stitch of that foundation chain. Okay, you should be working over the 2 remaining strands, and if you're having a hard time seeing where to put your hook, just look for that single crochet that was worked in row 1 and just go opposite of that and work a single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Now when you get to the seam and to the portion, let me go ahead and show you. When you get to the portion with the wattle stitches, we're going to work 2 double crochets in each chain 2 space, and then 1 double crochet in the single crochet. So I'll repeat that. 2 double crochets in the chain 2 spaces of the wattle stitches and 1 double crochet in the single crochet. We're not going to work in the double crochet. So for each wattle stitch, you're going to have 3 double crochets. This ribbing is not going to be as tight as the ones that we worked around the sleeve. I wanted it to be a little more relaxed, so that's why we're taking that approach. Now if you want the ribbing to be tighter, you can do that by making 2 double crochets per wattle stitch, and over here working 2 double crochets, skipping a stitch, and then 2 double crochets. I hope that's not too confusing, but if you do that, that's going to consolidate it more and it's going to bring it in a little tighter. I kind of wanted a more flowy approach result with this, so that's what I'm going to do. So go ahead and work that foundation row all the way around the bottom of the sweater. And just to be clear, I just wanted to give you a demonstration of when you get to the side with the wattle stitches, you're going to work 2 double crochets in that chain 1 space, and then 1 double crochet in that single crochet. We're not doing any stitches in that double crochet. Now I've gone all the way around, and now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to that first stitch of the round, and I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and now I'm going to begin the front post, back post double crochets, and we work a front post double crochet in the first stitch, back post double crochet in the next, and we're going to repeat that all the way around the bottom of the sweater, and are actually going to work 7 rounds just like we did on the sleeves. Now we're ready to work the collar right around here. Now it's a rather wide opening, I understand that. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to soften the squareness by working wattle stitches around the opening. And let me show you how we're going to do that. Go ahead and get our slip knot ready. And I'm going to start right here in the corner, and as you can see, this is where one of the wattle stitches was worked into that foundation chain when we made the collar. So let's go ahead and chain 1. Now we're ready to work a wattle stitch. Go ahead, work that single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. And now we're going to go to the next wattle stitch, which is right here. You might need to get your reading glasses out if you're in that phase of life like I am, and find the next hole where that wattle stitch was made. And we're going to do a wattle stitch there. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way across. So I'm going to skip this area here and find where the next wattle stitch was worked. Now I'm going to do this all the way across. Now this is only on that foundation area. Okay, so I'm going to work this across until the next corner. Let me show you. I'm going to work that across until this shoulder edge right here. Okay, after having worked across that foundation chain section, we're going to skip this little section here. What we're going to do is we're trying to get to where the stitch, lays flat, and we're working around that squared off section around the collar. Okay, skip this hole here and go ahead and work in this next section. And what you're actually doing is this double crochet. You want to see wherever it kind of naturally comes to lie. And like right here, this is the one section where we're coming up on the squared off part. So go ahead and skip this little section and go to the next stitch here and work that wattle stitch. Okay, now we're going to skip this section and this little part here, and we're going to go right for the hole right here, which is where we're beginning the wattle stitch section. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to just show you the collar portion to give you an understanding of what we're doing here. Okay, this is the collar, and what we just did is we came around from the working on that foundation chain, and then we're coming around to the other side of the sweater, and this is the side where you have your wattle stitches. So this should be much easier to see where to put your stitches, because we're just going to work in that chain 1 space like you've been working throughout the project. So go ahead and work wattle stitches across that side of the collar. After working that all the way across, working in those wattle stitches, we now come to the section which is the other squared off section over the shoulder. And let's go ahead and evenly work in the next space. And we're going to skip this space here and go for the next space. And we're going to skip over this section, go for that next stitch. Again, as that double crochet naturally falls, that's what you're going for. Now we're getting, so having worked 2 of these wattle stitches, actually the one in the corner and then plus 2 more along this edge, instead of working another wattle stitch here, we are simply going to connect to the same place where that stitch was worked. Okay, so now we have wattle stitches all the way around. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to work a double crochet. We're not going to turn. We're just going to have the front side facing for all of these rounds for the collar. We're going to work a double crochet in that first single crochet, and then we're going to work a double crochet in that chain 1 space, a double crochet in the single crochet of the wattle stitch, and then we're going to work a double crochet in the chain 1, and we're going to work that all the way around. Double crochet in that single crochet and a double crochet in that chain 1 of the wattle stitch. So it's very similar to what we did on the cuffs. Okay, so go ahead and work that all the way around the collar. At the end of the round, we're going to join with a slip stitch to the very first double crochet of the round. Just like that. We're going to chain 2, and the next 2 rounds are going to be the same. We're going to work a front post double crochet. Notice that I did not work in the chain. The chain does not count as a double crochet in this project or in the collar portion. And then after we do that front post double crochet, we work a back post double crochet. This is the ribbing, just like we've been doing. Front post double crochet, and then a back post double crochet, and go ahead and work that all the way around. After working that all the way around, go ahead and join with a slip stitch to that first stitch of the round. So chain 2, and again, without turning, we're going to work front post double crochet and back post double crochet, and work that all the way around the collar. Just like the last round, we're going to join with a slip stitch in that first double crochet of the round. I'm going to chain 2, and that is the second round with the front post, back post. I'm going to work 2 more rounds to complete my collar. So that'll be a total of 4 rounds using the front post, back post double crochets. So go ahead and finish those 2 rounds, and we'll be ready to fasten off. At the end of the last round, we just join with a slip stitch to that first stitch of the round. Give it a chain, give it a tug, and we're ready to cut our strand. Make sure that you leave a nice long strand so that we can weave them in. Okay, now we're ready to hide these loose threads. We go ahead and just thread that yarn into our yarn needle, and then just working on the back side of your work, you can go ahead and work this down into the stitches very carefully. You just want to make sure that these are not shown from the front side. And I like to go down the stitches, and I actually like to come back up a little bit too, just to try to give this strand resistance so that it doesn't pull out. And we're going to pull that up a little bit, and I think that's good enough for this one. And then we're going to go ahead and clip that close to the work, but make sure you don't clip your beautiful stitches. Give that a little tug, and that is hidden. And so now I have many other stitches to hide, or strands rather, to hide throughout my work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, And let's take a look at this beautiful color. I really, really like the way this kind of makes this rounded and kind of softens that square that we were working in before. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I have.
I hope you enjoyed doing this my first crochet sweater project with me. If you did, if you could please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the new offerings coming your way. God bless. Bye-bye.